guys, it's Kayla from Killing It with Coupons, and I'm here to share with you guys my Walgreens haul for this week. Initially, when I saw the ad for this week, I did not see a lot going on. However, the Crest coupon ended up resetting. They also had some really good deals on these razors. And in addition to that, I also earned my bonus for when I spent $15 in 3 transactions, which this was the third one I did over the course of the last 3 weeks. I did one every week, so this was the third one. I earned back a $10 Walgreens cash bonus. So technically this ended up actually being a moneymaker since I earned it in this transaction. Like, this was the final one that I needed to count towards that. However, it accumulated over the last 3 weeks. So if you guys saw my haul from last week and the week prior, including this haul, all of those items from all 3 of those hauls would have totaled $193.32, but after I earned that $10 bonus back along with all the other Walgreens cash and the net cost for the last 3 transactions, it ended up only being $15.20, which is like $5 per haul, which is pretty amazing because last week and the week before that I got a ton of paper products. This week I ended up getting these Gillette Venus razors. Like, these alone retail at over $15, which is like awesome. So I will go into the full breakdown for this haul, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I am going to count that $10 in this transaction that I earned, but I'll also let you guys know what the net cost of just this transaction was without earning that bonus. But again, for me, because I did in this final transaction, this is where I'm counting it. So with that $10, this actually ended up being a money maker. But like I said, it was over the course of 3 transactions. That is sort of how I look at it. Sometimes it can be a little bit confusing when somebody's like, oh yeah, this was a moneymaker, but it was just one item that I needed to buy in order to get a bonus of some type, like from Ibotta or from Walgreens or something like that. When you either have to do multiple rebate deals or multiple transactions in order to get those bonuses back, sometimes that can be a little bit confusing, especially if you're a newbie and like, how did you end up getting that bonus and how's that a moneymaker for you? But again, make sure you guys are taking advantage of those spend boosters at Walgreens, because again, like I said, over the course of the last 3 weeks at Walgreens, when my net cost for all of the items ends up only being $15, that is like awesome. So those spend boosters are so worth it. And that is, again, one of the best ways that I really find to coupon at Walgreens are with those spend boosters. This week, these items that I ended up picking up here on the table from Walgreens would have been $55.90. I paid $18.27 out of pocket. I saved $37.63 and used $5 in Walgreens cash. I ended up earning a total of $28.34. $7 of that was a when you spend 30 spend booster, which was mine that was available for this week, along with that $10 Walgreens cash that I also earned, which was when I spent $15 on 3 transactions. And again, this was the third one that counted towards that. So my net cost for these items was a $5.07 moneymaker. Again, if you exclude that bonus that I earned with the $10 one, it was really only $4.93. But because I didn't count that spend booster in any of the other transactions and I earned it in this one, the way I look at it was, again, it was a $5.07 money maker for all these items. And like I said, over the course of 3 weeks, $15.20 for net cost for all 3 of those hauls after earning back the $10 in Walgreens cash for the 3 transaction spend booster. And again, spend boosters are going to vary by your account. Some people will have a spend booster when you spend 40 or 45, you'll get back 10. Like I said, mine for this week was spend 30 and you get $7 back. So this was what I ended up doing. I also want to point out as well, one of these items, which is actually these Gillette Intimate razors, these ones are ringing up actually on clearance, but they're counting towards this deal and they have coupons, but I think that they are probably clearancing them out. Like, they're not going to be manufacturing them anymore, because I did also see that like Walmart had these on clearance as well. And like I said, at my Walgreens they had. So keep your eyes out for those at like CVS and other grocery stores that you shop at, because you might end up getting a deal where it's stacks or a coupon, because these are on clearance. Along with one other thing I do want to point out is that there is a promo code for online purchases. This transaction was with an online purchase. I just ended up doing this as a pickup order. So if you are doing an online purchase, then you can use the promo codes, which will end up getting you more discounts as well. This week there was a Jan 20 promo code, which was when you spend $40 in select like personal care and also like hosting products, which was like some select food and select like paper products, paper plates, garbage bags, that kind of thing, you ended up getting 20% off. So that promo code is working, and it was attaching to this Venus razor, but like not the more expensive ones. And then also the old El Paso. Again, I didn't end up spending $40 in those products to be able to use that, but I wanted to let you guys know because there are certain products that will count towards that and certain products that won't. So like I said, this specifically, the pink Gillette Venus Comfort Glide razor was, but then the other varieties weren't. And like this one, again, to the intimate one was not, but then like the old El Paso refried beans were. So it is just when you click on the item in the app, it should tell you if it like will attach to that promo code or not, but it is like not on all items and on select items, and even to, again, on certain varieties of certain items. In case you guys do end up figuring out a scenario for that, you could potentially end up using that as well. So I just wanted to point that out to you guys. Like I said, I ended up doing this as a pickup order. My dad just stopped on his way home from work actually, and just you know, ran into Walgreens and picked up these things that I placed as an order last night. But the first deal is on these Crest oral care products. These are the coupon reset. They are, the ones I picked up are all $4. They do have some that are $3.50. I think the toothbrushes and toothpastes, select varieties, up to I think $4.50 or $5, something like that. The way I worked this out was also so that I could get my $30 spend booster that I needed so that my subtotal would be over $30. It was actually also over $35, so I was able to use $5 in Walgreens cash. And just for clarification as well, when you're using a spend booster, if you use Walgreens cash to pay for the items, you still have to make sure that your threshold is over $30. So for example, mine was $36 and I think 77 cents. $1.50 came off from these facial tissues, which is a Walgreens store coupon, and store coupons count against that. My subtotal ended up going down to $35.27, which means that I was still able to use $5 in Walgreens cash to pay for my out-of-pocket. So I ended up using that, which made my subtotal still $30.27, and then I was able to use all of the manufacturer coupons that then come off and can make my subtotal as low as I want it to go with the manufacturer coupons. Those do not count against the spend booster, but the two things that you have to take into account are the promo codes, the Walgreens store coupons, and Walgreens cash that you are using when you are going to get those bonuses. So like I said, for me, this is how I worked it out and threw in these facial tissues and the old El Paso as well, because that ended up getting my total up high enough that I was still able to actually earn Walgreens cash. Had I actually not added those products in, I would have ended up paying $1 extra out of pocket. So this, again, for my scenario, ended up working out better for me to do it this way. With those spend boosters, they're all going to be different. This scenario might not work for you if you have a higher value spend booster, or if you have a lower value spend booster, like a $5 back when you spend $20. So just like I said, be careful with that and how those end up working out, but that is why I ended up picking up these $4 Crest and Oral-B products. The Crest toothpaste, the Crest mouthwash, and the Oral-B toothbrushes, the ones that I picked up, were all $4. The toothpaste is regularly $4.49, the toothbrush is regularly $4.99, and the mouthwash is regularly $5.49. There is also a $5 off of 3 digital coupon, so I used that, paid only $7, and earned back $5 in Walgreens cash for buying 3, making these items just $2 for 3 or 67 cents each, which, like I said, you could potentially end up buying the $3.50 items, which are select toothbrushes and toothpastes, and end up getting that for even cheaper. But again, for me, because of the scenario I worked out with my spend booster, it ended up making these a better deal for me in the whole scenario. And like I was saying with these Gillette razors, the Gillette Intimate Razor is on clearance for $8.99. It's regularly $17.99, and like I said, take a look at your other stores as well outside of just Walgreens, because these might be on clearance as well at those stores. But there was a $3 off of coupon, and then the Gillette Venus Comfort Glide Razor was on sale for $9.99, regularly $13.49, and there was also a separate $3 off coupon on that. And you could also pick up the Gillette Men's Razor, which is similarly select varieties. These are all going to vary, so make sure, again, when you are picking these up, you are looking for the $9.99 ones. So you could do a Gillette Venus Women's and a Gillette Men's razor if they do not have these intimate razors at your store, and you'll pay $1 more, which still ends up working out to be a pretty good deal, whole Gillette razor deal. But there is a separate $3 off coupon on the Venus and a select coupon on the men's and a select coupon on these intimate ones. So I ended up picking those up, paid $12.98 and earned $6 in Walgreens cash back for buying two, making these $6.98 for two, or $3.49 each. And like I said, if your store does not have these intimate razors, you could pick up the men's as well and end up getting those $3 off both of those. It would just end up being $1 more, which would make these $3.99 each. Then the Walgreens facial tissues, these are on sale $2 for two when you buy two or more. They're going to ring up at $1. If not, they are regularly $1.29. So three of them would have cost $3.87 for me. Instead, they were just $3, but we have a 50-cent off Walgreens store coupon. And the way store coupons work, like I said, those count against your spend booster. However, they will take off a maximum amount of times. It is like unlimited use. So if I were to pick up like 75 of these, I would get 50 cents off 75 times. So for me, this took $1.50 off since I bought three, and I ended up paying just $1.50 for three, or 50 cents per box of facial tissue, which is a really good deal. And then I was looking around with the Jan 20 promo code and checking to see if there was any other products that maybe I wanted to do so that I could use that promo code. And I actually happened to stumble across this old El Paso refried beans, which was counting towards that. But like I said, I didn't have enough to be able to use that promo code. But when I was looking through, I happened to come across this. And these are $2.79 regular price, but they're on sale, buy one get one free. So two of them would have been $5.58. However, when you buy two with the sale, it's $2.78, and there's $1 off of two digital coupon. So you'll be left to pay just $1.79 for two, or 90 cents each, which I checked, this is cheaper than my Aldi's price, or right around the same price for refried beans. And again, this is for the name brand. Plus on top of that, it all ended up being a moneymaker. And by throwing that in as well, I was able to use my Walgreens cash to get my out-of-pocket a little bit less. So like I said, that was everything I ended up doing at Walgreens for this week. Again, those razors, check to see other stores might have them on clearance as well. And again, the spend boosters, those are going to be your best friend at Walgreens. That is what I normally find work out to be some of the best deals. As a net cost, really, again, if I was not earning back that $10 in this transaction, would have still been $5 for all these things, which is still way less than even that's half the price of what this costs regular price. So that's still such an awesome deal, and it wouldn't have worked out if I wasn't using that spend booster. These ended up working out to be really awesome deals for me. Depending on, again, your spend booster and things like that, you can work out a scenario similarly to this. It might not end up being exactly as mine, or maybe you just want to go in the store and pick up these razors because these are still a pretty good price. Walgreens, like I said, can be very confusing because of that, but I've found it's probably one of my favorite places to shop at because of it. And those spend boosters, and I know that again too, I can get 3 weeks worth of things from Walgreens, and most of it was paper products, honestly, the last 2 weeks, and end up getting them for $15 as a net cost is like so awesome. So that is it for me from Walgreens for this week. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you guys give it a like and follow, and I will see you guys all in the next haul. So bye guys.